Barbecue. To be a little bit more specific, American barbecue. Honestly, it is so good and we all love it. For meat eaters, there's nothing better than a barbecue feast. That is a fact. And as we all know, the most iconic piece of meat in any barbecue is always the brisket. Because let's face it, a perfectly cooked brisket is truly meat heaven. When I dry aged one and cooked it, it was almost like an outer body experience. Or what I like to call the waterfall that every single meat lover loves to see. Come on, take a look at that. But there is one thing that I have never done before, and that is to cook the jewel of all briskets. I'm talking about a Wagyu brisket. But that is all about to change today, so let's do it. And this is the star of the show. It is a 14-pound Wagyu pecker brisket with marbling score 9, the highest brisket grading that ever sat on my cutting board. And just opening it is an awesome experience by itself. The excitement of removing the first layer and being revealed with this, wow. That, my friends, is something you do not see every day. Come on. Not many pieces of meat get me excited like this one. But as I continued to open up and removing the rest of the packaging, this is what I was left with. My very first marbling score 9 pecker brisket. And it is a beauty. Now I want to have the best possible experience with this brisket. And I am not going to let anything go to waste. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is removing all the external fat. If you've watched my videos previously, you know that Wagyu fat is quite different than regular fat. Not only does it taste different, it also feels different. It almost starts rendering just by the heat of your fingers. So I definitely want to use that fat and not let it go to waste. Now to have the best possible experience with this brisket, I'm going to be doing something I've never done on the channel. That is to separate both muscles, the flat and also the point. This will allow me to cook every single muscle individually, giving it the attention it deserves. So I grabbed my sharpest knife and started separating the muscles. The part you see me grabbing right there is called the point, and it is the most fattiest part of the brisket. So I work nice and slowly to make sure that I leave most of the fat on the bottom part, which is the flat. But once I was done with the trimming, this is what it looks like. As you can see, the flat, I like to leave a 1/4 inch of fat. The point, however, I removed all of it. Since there's a lot of intramuscular fat internally, there's no need to leave any of the external fat. Now here's how I'm going to be cooking both pieces of meat. The flat itself, I'm going to be cooking like a regular brisket. Because if there's one thing all of my family loves is nice slices of brisket. The point, on the other hand, I'm actually going to be making some burn ends. That way it will give me a nice overall experience with this wonderful brisket to enjoy. The next thing to do is to get it seasoned. And for that, I only added salt and freshly ground black pepper, nothing else. For a nice wonderful piece of meat like this, you definitely don't want to use any other type of seasoning. You really want to taste the beef. But let's not forget about the fat. This is what I was left with all of the trimmings. There's no way that I'm going to let this go to waste. I'm going to transform it into beef tallow. And it is extremely easy to do. Here's how. Using my powerful outdoor gas stove and cast iron, I set everything outside because I highly recommend you doing this in the good old outdoors. If not, the smell is just going to completely overpower your house. The next thing to do is pretty straightforward. You just gotta keep it under medium-low heat to render all of that fat. It is extremely important not to burn it because once you are done, you should be left with beautiful beef tallow. And as you've seen before, this thing is good for many things, including replacing your regular cooking oil that you use every day. But now going back to our brisket. To cook it, I'm going to be using my camshaft pellet cooker. I'll be setting it at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm actually not shooting for any type of internal temperature, but I am looking for feel. When I poke it and it feels like butter, I'll know it's ready. Once it has smoked for 4 hours, I will actually be wrapping it to speed up the process. For that, I'll be using aluminum foil. So now I say it is enough talking and it is time to cook them. So let's do it. All right, everybody, we have our beautiful barbecue spread here. What do you think, Angel? Huh?
Bro, we got the flat, the point, the burn ends. I don't know what else we need. We got a sandwich.
Look at that. This boy knows everything already. Yes, we have a huge feast today. This is supposed to be kind of like a, brisket experiment. So, not experiment, experience.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So we're going to try different things. So we're going to start right here, yeah? Which is,
right there.
A lot of people do like the flat and some people don't like the flat. Most people obviously like the point because the point has more fatness on it. But I do like the flat. I'll tell you one thing. That is as tender as it gets, everybody. Because check it out. Let's pass out the tenderness test first of all. Quick pull test. You saw that, Angel?
It worked.
I repeat.
Okay.
Nice and tender.
How about this one?
Just the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, the bend test is bending. All right, enough. You ready? Cheers, everybody. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Nice smoky flavor, but not over smoky. You know what I mean? It is a nice, clean smoke, everybody.
Yeah.
What do you think, Angel?
No, this is perfect.
It's perfect. Not overpowering over the smoke. You know what I mean? That is the secret. Because you want to taste the beef, everybody. You don't want to make it too smoky. Okay, let's go right here, yeah? With the point. Now, I make kind of like little point cubes.
Yeah,
I guess you would say. You know what I mean? One bite, one thing. It should be a nice, perfect bite. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Oh boy.
That's
It's like-
dangerous.
It's like meat butter, everybody. That's all I gotta say about that.
This one was really good.
Yeah.
But when you come over here, you got the juices and the fats and just it like melts in your mouth. I don't know.
Yeah, what happens is it's so much more fattier, the point over here, everybody, that it's just a tremendous, huge difference. Now, this brisket is quite special. Did you feel a little bit extra fattiness on it?
Yeah, I've been tasting a lot of fat.
Good fat, bad fat?
Good.
Good fat. Look at this boy. Yes, it is. This is a Wagyu brisket, by the way. It's a Wagyu brisket.
I didn't even know they made that.
Yeah, I know. You can tell that it's a little bit richness and a little bit more, I would say, intense flavor. But at the same time, it's nothing like a Wagyu steak. You agree?
No, it doesn't taste like steak. It tastes like brisket.
Tastes like brisket.
And then on top of that, it doesn't have that overpowering kind of fat. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you can't really eat a full Wagyu A5, like the whole
There's no way.
thing. It's so fatty. It's like
Right.
you're gonna feel a little bit bad afterwards. A lot of fat.
It's too rich. That's
Yeah,
what it
it's
is.
too rich.
It's
That's
too
the
rich.
word.
You cannot eat the whole
This
thing.
doesn't feel like it's too rich.
Right. I
It
can
feels
eat this
like-
whole thing by
yeah.
myself right here. And this one here too.
Yeah, well,
now,
there
which
you
one
go.
do you prefer? You prefer the leaner or the fattier part? Okay,
Oh.
let's go jump into the burn ends, yeah?
Okay.
This one is the same exact thing as the other one, Angel. But the difference is that I mixed it up with a little bit of barbecue sauce. Yeah?
Oh.
And cooked it a little bit longer as well. So should be a little bit more tender. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Oh. Oh.
I'll go for another one right away. Tell me, Angel. Are you okay? You look happier, huh? Oh. Come on.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I'll give you
That's
that.
a good one, everybody.
I'll give you that one. That's a good one.
Now I wish I did all of these like that. You know what I mean? But, we're trying it out to let you guys know which one is better. This is phenomenal.
Oh,
Agree?
yeah.
This is incredible, everybody. Now, since the fat is kind of lean, I made a little barbecue sandwich to go along with it, with a garlic bread. Yeah, Angel?
Oh.
Garlic bread. Oh, it smells amazing, everybody. That's all I gotta say about that. It smells incredible.
I'm going back here like
Little sandwich, huh? You ready, Angel? Cheers,
Cheers.
buddy. Oh. That is what this was made to be, as a brisket sandwich, everybody. That is incredible.
I think all of you need to try this. Even if it's not a Wagyu brisket,
Right.
you get a nice brisket, and you make this sandwich, I think you're gonna enjoy it no matter what. Oh, good.
Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do enjoy, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, be sure to subscribe for future videos. Remember, if you are interested in any of the equipment I use, everything's always in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.